Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, take control of your business by knowing your numbers. Part 5 in our series on demystifying your financial statements with certified public accountant and MBA, Marcy Maslov. Marcy, welcome to this fifth segment. Knowing you'd think this is elementary. You'd think this would be, everybody knows that, Steve, but nobody knows it. According to my 35 years experience, you as a CPA, an MBA, you're a personal business coach, and most of us don't have any of this.
Right. Most people do not know their numbers.
How can we be in business for this long and not know our numbers? I mean, just by the grace of God, we skated through this.
You know, this is the one place I think that most business owners, they just don't know their numbers. They have never taken an accounting class. They're embarrassed to admit that they don't know their numbers. They have lost control of their business. And this is the one place that if they knew their numbers, it would give them back a lot of power, a lot of freedom, a lot of choice. And so accounting is one of those things where it is technical. There's a lot of rules. It's hard to manage. And we're already fighting with one hand tied behind our back because people don't like numbers in rules, right? In general, I think the statistic is we start losing our affinity for numbers when we're in grade school. So we have to get past that fear. We have to get past that fear that we're going to be judged if we get into our numbers and we share that information with other people. And we have to really start owning up to our own activities because those numbers are going to free you, remove the obstacles to your growth, and let you go do the things that you want to love, that you love.
Well, you have to sell that, though.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the sales pitch here for our business owners that are watching. We really need to get hold of our numbers so that we can be set free to make good, solid business decisions. And we're not making them because we don't even know our own numbers.
Exactly right. Most of my clients come to me, they're making decisions from gut. And they're hoping and praying that when they get the information back from their accountant, they're going to understand the numbers and it's going to make sense. It's going to jive in their head with what they know they've done. And a lot of times it doesn't, but they don't know how to ask the questions of, you know, how did I get this? How did I go from selling this product to a loss on my income statement?
Well, here's a fear of God moment. If you're not doing your own accounting and you're not outsourcing this to somebody that's an analyst and you don't know your numbers, some of your competitors might.
They might.
See, and if that doesn't put the fear of God in you, nothing will. Because now we're talking about marketing and competition. And you know, we are business people. We're not selling in a vacuum here.
Yeah.
People are competing for our services, our products. We need to know this. And numbers, knowing your numbers, I'm thinking of a gal that is probably the coupon queen of my neighborhood. When she walks into the store, she's paying for very little.
Right.
She's learned how to manage this into the ground.
Exactly.
She's got a budget. She's got numbers. She is the queen of coupons, and everybody reveres her.
Right.
I mean, this is
It's a big deal.
And I thought to myself, you should be a business person because you already have the underpinnings. Now, numbers, we talked about last segment, the 3 big numbers, the big statements. Now, and you've been all along, we've been saying this needs to be monitored monthly. When I come at the end of the year, I might have to make a major makeover. I could have made small adjustments as I was going.
I want you to imagine this kind of a situation. So you get to tax day and your tax person gives you your tax bill and it's $40, $50, $60, $100,000 and you knew nothing about that. You're not prepared for it. If you knew your numbers all the way along, you could put money away to pay that tax. If you know your numbers, you can determine which products and customers you can accept or not. If you know your numbers, you are going to be making much more informed decisions in the moment, and you'll be able to adjust as you go along. At the end of the year, too late. At tax day, when you have to actually pay that tax bill, too late.
I'm assuming that if I haven't done my job and I don't know my numbers, that the billable hours for my accountant's going to go up.
It probably will, yeah, because like if you have a whole pile of receipts, you know, that you haven't done anything with, then you're going to have to get somebody to do the bookkeeping or you're going to have to spend the time yourself.
Now, I know that, you know, all right, let's just pretend that all of us have this phobia, this fear of numbers, like you've said, okay?
Yeah.
Now, of course, I noticed that, you know, guys all of a sudden on Sunday when the NFL's on, they all know how to bet. You know, they all know how to wager.
Yeah.
So they're taking the same risk, measuring out the point spread, things like that. So everybody, they say they fear of numbers, but people are dealing in their areas that they love and using numbers all the time.
Right. So you can look at knowing your numbers as the freedom to do the things that you love to do, or not knowing your numbers means that now you're tied to your desk, you're tied to your business, it's not any fun for you. And which would you rather have? So if you do your numbers and you keep track of them all the way along, you're going to actually have a lot more freedom, a lot more time to do all the things that really do make you money and actually make sense for your business.
Everything you just said sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, let's walk through the toughest part. They're watching this show.
Right.
They know they don't know their numbers. They watched yesterday's show.
Yep.
We did not have the 3 most important financial statements. We don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
That was new to them.
Right.
Let's say we have to start, and let's just assume everybody watching is ground zero. I hear what you're saying. I'm cut to the quick by the truth of what you're saying. How do I start? I mean, where do I even begin?
So there's a lot of resources available to you. You can talk to your CPA society in your state where you live. You can talk to me. You can talk to you. A lot of times people come to me, they've talked to their friends about the bookkeepers that they use. Talk to people about how they do their accounting and where they get their resources from. And you can also go online and Google it. You can look for
Okay, but let's say I'm coming to you for the first time.
Right. If you
and
come
I
to
have
me,
nothing. I have been derelict in my duties.
I have clients who've actually done that.
What's the transition time?
So what I start with is I start with a 90-day program where I just teach you. Literally, it's what are the financial statements? What are the stories that they tell you? What do you need to know? And then what we start doing is as I teach you, we start crafting, well, for my business, these are the things I need to know. So we set up, key indicators. We set up key pieces of information you need to know, like which product is most profitable or, how much money do I need to pay payroll? Believe it or not, some people don't even know that. Sometimes, I mean, I've seen a lot of things.
Well, don't they have to pay the government FICA FUTA SUTA?
They do.
And they still don't know.
They do. They still don't. They don't have a really good handle of what they have to do. So we start with the education and say, here's what you need to know. And then we start creating a budget and we start monitoring. My whole thing, the reason that I'm even here today is I want to create that safe space for business owners to say, okay, I am done struggling. I am done living with my gut instinct. I want to know my numbers so that I can make better decisions that are going to help me, help my family, help my business. And so I create the safe space. Talk to people. If you do decide to hire somebody, ask them questions like, what's your accounting background? Give me a little bit of an example of how you work with your customers. What is the most important things you want me to do on a regular basis? Start having a dialogue and talking with people. Accountants are people. We actually like numbers a lot more than the average person, and we love the analysis a lot better than most people, but we want to be of service as well. So that's how you start. You start asking questions.
Well, I remember back in some biblical story in the New Testament that talks about this person had to face his business owner, or his master, and he had to give him an accounting. He had to give an accounting of his numbers. It's in there.
It's an old profession.
Exactly. By the way, this is not. We didn't make this up in the 20th century.
No.
So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I'm trying to give account to my business. Sometimes when I'm the boss, I give myself a pass.
Yeah.
So now I'm coming to you saying, I'm no longer willing to do that. I need to know my numbers. I'm thinking about investors. I'm thinking about more bank expansion. I'm going to have to go to a bank loan. I need to know that.
Yeah.
So when I come scratch, first 90 days is education. But then the next section is?
Then the next section is actually getting into the numbers and diving in and looking at what you've got and making sure that it's right. And that
those
it's
three
complete.
Statements we talked about yesterday,
Yep.
That's going to be part of our scene as well.
That's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long does it take me to get online from I don't know nothing? I have a business, but I just didn't do anything. Now I've done your 90-day ed. I've got my 3 statements up.
Yeah.
I'm meeting monthly because I don't want any surprises at the end of the year. I'm making my adjustments as we go. How long does it take me to make this transition?
So every person is different. I can just tell you what my stories of my actual clients are. I've taken people in 9 months from knowing nothing, literally thinking that their financial statement was their Schedule C, to actually now monitoring their numbers on a regular basis.
Whoa. So my Schedule C is not my financial statement. I mean, that's what you just said.
It's not. Your Schedule C is not your financial statement.
Okay. Well, I think that would be a big underlying statement in our segment here. Okay, so once we get past, Schedule C isn't it. And you said it takes me about 9 months on a drop.
90 days.
90 days.
Yeah,
I'm
90
sorry.
days.
90 days from a drop dead, I don't know anything, to get you back online.
Yeah,
Okay.
it will not be perfect, Steve, because every business is different, and so it's going to depend on what you got going on. But you will, with me, because I hold your hand, you will actually learn what you need to know about the financials, your accounting. Sometimes I will help you choose an accounting package if you're not doing it, or I will refer you to a bookkeeper to do that kind of work. It's on you to make the commitment to learn and to do the work. And this is one thing that I do actually say to my clients: if you put the time in, and continue consistently, you will actually feel a lot more control of your business, and you'll be a lot happier. And so things will start happening faster for you.
Okay, so to me, this is a huge issue. If you're heading to the new year and you're looking for a resolution, and you're a business owner, this would be it.
This is a resolution you want to keep. You don't want to make the resolution and then dump it a week later. No, this is one that's really serious. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you, Marcy, for sharing this series on demystifying your financial statements. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or maybe even your financial advisor. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.